At 12:47 a.m., the only people who knock that hard are the ones who've run out of options. I didn't check the peephole right away. I didn't need to. My family has a pattern. They don't show up when things are good. They don't show up when I'm tired, or proud, or quietly falling apart. But when they're scared, when the consequences finally catch their ankle, they remember my address like it's muscle memory. The knocking came again. Not polite, not hesitant. More like the door belonged to them and I was taking too long to open it. I stood there in my socks, listening, and the strangest thought hit me. So calm it was almost funny. They're here because they finally need the child they trained to survive without them. When I opened the door, my mother was soaked, mascara smudged at the corners like she'd cried in the car but didn't want me to know. My father stood behind her, jaw tight, eyes fixed on the floor like he'd already surrendered to whatever was coming. And behind them, in the glow of the streetlight, my sister Cassie sat in the passenger seat of their car with her face buried in her hands. My mother didn't say hello. She didn't ask how I'd been. She didn't even pretend to be warm. She just swallowed and said, "Nora, we need you." And there it was, the sentence my family saves for emergencies, the sentence that always meant, "We are about to hand you a weight and call it love." I didn't step aside right away. I didn't invite them in like a daughter desperate for approval. I looked at their faces and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not anger, certainty. Because in my family, love was never a feeling. It was a ranking system, a quiet gravity that pulled everything toward Cassie and left me circling the edge, useful only when the lights went out. Cassie was the kind of child adults called special before she'd even done anything. She had the laugh that filled rooms, the confidence that made teachers forgive late work, the talent for being admired without trying. My mother watched her the way people watch fireworks, hungry for the glow. I learned early that my job was to be the opposite, the easy one, the one who didn't complain, the one who didn't need much, the one who could be managed with a nod and a compliment tossed like spare change. When Cassie turned 16, my parents made an event of it. They parked a used but nice SUV in the driveway and waited by the window with a camera like they were filming a commercial. I remember standing halfway up the stairs, invisible in my own house, listening to my mother's voice sharpen with pride. "Your future is worth investing in," she told Cassie, handing over the keys like she was crowning her. 6 months later, on my 16th birthday, the kitchen light buzzed over a small cake from the grocery store. No candles, no guests. My father slid a card across the table with "We're proud of you" printed inside, like he'd grabbed the first thing he saw. I smiled anyway because I knew the script. Cassie got the spotlight, I got the quiet nod. College came and the script got thicker. Cassie received checks, tuition, books, rent near campus. My mother called it support. She called it setting her up. She called it being good parents. When it was my turn to talk about school, my mother's voice shifted into a tone I hated because it sounded like she was pretending to be wise. "You're independent," she said, like it was a compliment and not a convenient excuse. "You'll manage." And I did. I managed the way people manage when nobody is coming. I worked mornings. I studied nights. I skipped little comforts without telling anyone. I learned how to build a life from scraps and discipline. I learned how to smile at family gatherings while Cassie told stories about trips and dinners and this cute little boutique she discovered, and I nodded like those things existed in my world too. The saddest part wasn't even that they didn't celebrate me. The saddest part was how normal it felt. I remember graduating from community college and walking across the stage in a sea of strangers. I called home after, standing in the parking lot with my cap in my hand and my gown stuck to my legs in the summer heat. My mother answered while doing something else. I could hear bags rustling, a TV in the background, someone talking. "That's wonderful, honey," she said, and then, "Cassie's having a tough day. I'll call you back." She didn't. By the time I transferred to a 4-year program on a scholarship, I didn't expect applause. I didn't expect balloons. I didn't even expect a dinner. I expected nothing because expecting nothing hurt less than hoping for something. Then came Thanksgiving, the year I finally heard the truth out loud. I reached for a serving dish and my mother stopped me with a look, not cruel, just matter of fact. "Don't take that," she said. "Cassie's kids will want it." Then she glanced at me like she was evaluating a stranger and added, "Cassie's household comes first. You'll understand when you have a real family." My father nodded like it was weather, not a verdict. I didn't argue, I didn't cry, I didn't make a scene, I just said, "Good to know." And something inside me unclenched for the first time in my life. Because when people finally say the quiet part out loud, you stop wasting energy pretending you misunderstood them. After that, I pulled back in ways they didn't notice at first. No more paying for shared gifts. No more, "Sure, I can cover it this time." No more being the backup plan, the dependable one, the invisible one who was always expected to absorb the overflow. I stopped answering calls that felt like guilt dressed up as small talk. I stopped being available for my own neglect. And in the silence that followed, my life got clearer, quieter, mine. I wasn't flashy. I wasn't the sibling with big announcements. I was the sibling with a budget and a plan. I automated savings. I maxed out retirement contributions. I invested steadily, boringly, like someone who didn't believe anyone would catch her if she fell. I built a private stability my family knew nothing about because they never asked. And then, on that rain-soaked night, they showed up at my door together, as if they'd rehearsed the scene. "We need you," my mother said again, as if repetition would make it a command. I stepped back and let them in, not because I was eager, but because I wanted to see the shape of the problem they were carrying. I wanted to see what they believed they were entitled to. My mother sat on my couch like she owned it. My father perched at the edge of a chair, hands clasped, eyes darting. Cassie came in last, trembling, her hair damp, her shoulders curled like she'd shrunk. She didn't look at me right away. "Nora," she said finally, voice thin, like a child trying to apologize without knowing how. I didn't know where else to go. That sentence almost made me laugh, because she had gone everywhere else first. She'd gone to our parents, to friends, to whoever would soften the fall. And when nobody else could catch her, they came to the one person they'd trained to catch herself. My mother spread papers on my coffee table with the urgency of someone trying to outrun reality. Notices, bank letters, a mortgage statement with red stamps, a school tuition reminder for Cassie's oldest, another letter from an attorney, heavy on legal words and light on hope. "There's been a situation," my mother said. I watched her mouth shape the lie that made it sound accidental. My father exhaled, the kind of breath you take when you're about to admit you're scared. "Drew's in trouble," he said quietly. Drew, Cassie's husband, charming in public, slippery in private, the kind of man who could sell you a dream while quietly making you pay for it. My mother avoided detail at first, which told me everything. People who are honest explain. People who are manipulating summarize. "There's an investigation," she said. "The police were at their house. Accounts are frozen. Cassie can't access funds right now." "And the mortgage is behind," my father added. "They might lose the house." Cassie's eyes filled with tears as if the world had betrayed her instead of simply responding. My mother leaned toward me, voice lowering, turning intimate in that way that always meant she was about to ask for something huge and call it family. "We've done what we can," she said. "But it's not enough. We need a bridge." "A bridge to what?" I asked. "To stability," my father said, like the word tasted bitter. "Until Drew can work again. Until this clears up." Cassie flinched at "clears up." I looked at her. "What exactly is Drew being investigated for?" "It's complicated," Cassie said quickly. "Try simple," I said. Silence stretched. My mother snapped, "Nora, this isn't the time to interrogate." "It's exactly the time," I said, because the answer determines what kind of help you're asking for. My father's shoulders slumped. There were business funds, he admitted. He moved money around. There's an allegation he misreported income. So it wasn't bad luck. It was choices. My mother pushed a sheet of paper toward me with a number written neatly at the bottom like a price tag. We need you to cover the arrears, she said, the school balance and the legal retainer, just for now. Just for now. The phrase that means, until you can't escape. I didn't touch the paper. I didn't react. I didn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me panic. My mother's eyes narrowed. You have a stable job. You're not married. You don't have children. You're in a position to help more than anyone. There it was. The family math. Cassie spends. Cassie breaks. Cassie cries. And I become the emergency fund. I looked from my mother to my father to my sister and felt the old familiar pressure. Years of conditioning pushing me toward compliance. Then I remembered Thanksgiving. I remembered the sentence, Cassie's household comes first. I remembered how easily my father nodded. I remembered the years of managing alone. I stood up and the room went still, like they thought I was about to storm out. Instead, I said, I'll review everything. I'll respond tomorrow evening. Relief washed over my mother's face immediately, like she'd already heard a yes. Thank you, she said. I knew you'd do the right thing. She thanked me for a decision I hadn't made. When they left, my home felt bigger, quieter, like the air had returned. Mina stepped out from the hallway where she'd been listening, not hiding, just giving me space. She didn't ask what I was going to do. She didn't tell me what a good daughter would do. She simply poured tea and set it beside my laptop like a quiet offering of steadiness. You don't have to set yourself on fire, she said softly, to prove you're warm. I didn't cry. I didn't rant. I did what I always do when life tries to shove me back into the role of sacrifice. I opened my laptop. I pulled up accounts, statements, calendars, projections. I looked at my money like it was what it truly was, a record of my discipline, my survival, my time, not a family resource, not communal property, not something they could claim because they shared my last name. Then I built a plan, not a revenge plan, a firewall. If I helped, it wouldn't be charity. It wouldn't be blind sacrifice. It wouldn't be a handout that would become a habit. It would be structured like any serious transaction is structured, because serious people respect structure. I drafted terms the way my family never drafted anything. Clearly, in writing, with consequences. Payments would go directly to the mortgage company and the school. No cash transfers, no temporary loans, no mystery spending. Full financial disclosure. Every account, every debt, every payment plan, every asset. Mandatory budgeting sessions. Documented. Because I wasn't funding a lifestyle, I was preventing relapse, a repayment schedule with automatic withdrawals, and a mediator, because my family didn't speak truth without witnesses. Then the final condition, the one that wasn't about money at all. A written acknowledgement, not for the internet, not for drama, for the family, that they had prioritized Cassie, that they had expected me to be fine because I was quiet, that they had used my stability like a family credit card while calling it duty. I printed everything, put it in a binder, clean, calm, final. Mina watched me clip the pages into place and said, "You're not punishing them." "I'm removing the discount," I replied. The next evening, I drove to my parents' house with Mina beside me, not as backup muscle, not as a witness for a fight, as a witness for reality. When we walked into the living room, my mother had already arranged the papers on the coffee table like an altar to urgency. My father sat in his recliner, face drawn. Cassie was on the couch, eyes swollen, twisting her fingers like she could squeeze time backward. My mother looked up with the same expression she used when she expected obedience. "So," she said, "what did you decide?" I sat down across from them and placed my binder on the table, slow and deliberate. Before I opened it, I asked, "Is Drew aware you're asking me for this?" Cassie's eyes darted away. My mother jumped in. "He's overwhelmed." "What does that mean?" I asked. "Is he cooperating? Is he admitting anything? Is he planning to pay this back? Or are we pretending this is a storm that will simply pass if we hold hands?" My mother's face tightened. "Nora, no," I said quietly. "We're not skipping the truth because it's uncomfortable. That's how we got here." I opened the binder and slid the first page toward them. My mother scanned it and her mouth fell open slightly. My father reached for the next page, eyes moving line by line until he froze. It wasn't just the numbers. It was the realization, sharp and sudden, that they knew nothing about me. They had built an entire image of me based on convenience. The quiet one, the independent one, the one who manages. And in their minds, managing meant I didn't need anything. Managing meant I had no limits. Managing meant I was available. My mother's voice went thin. "Why didn't you tell us you had this?" I held her gaze. "You never asked." Silence hit the room like a hard object. I slid the terms forward. "If you want financial support from me," I said, "it will go through attorney Sloan Rivera. Funds will be held in escrow. Payments will go directly to the mortgage and the school. No discretionary access." My mother recoiled like I'd slapped her. "You're involving an attorney over family?" "You involved the legal system first," I said. "I'm just protecting myself." Cassie's eyes filled again. "Nora, please, I'm your sister. And I'm still a person," I replied, voice even. "Not a resource." My father cleared his throat, trying to sound reasonable. "These conditions, they're strict. They're standard," I said. "This is what adults do when money is real and trust is broken." My mother tried a new angle, softer. "But therapy? Mediation? Why are you making this emotional?" "I'm not making it emotional," I said. "It already is. You just preferred when I kept it quiet." Then I slid the final page forward. The written acknowledgement. My mother read the first line and her face went pale. "Absolutely not." "That's humiliating," she whispered. "Truth feels humiliating," I said, "when you've spent years calling it not a big deal." Cassie shook her head, tears dropping onto her hands. "You're making me the villain." "I'm not making you anything," I said. "I'm naming the pattern we all pretended didn't exist." My father's voice cracked. "Nora, we're desperate." And I believed him. I did. But desperation doesn't erase history. It doesn't erase the way they said I'd understand when I had a real family. It doesn't erase the way they only came when they needed something. I placed a pen on the table. "You have until tomorrow at 6 p.m., I said. "Same time window you gave me. If you agree, we do this my way, structured, documented, and with accountability. If you don't, then you handle your own emergency the way I learned to handle mine." My mother stared at me like she didn't recognize me. Because she didn't. The version of me she raised was designed to bend. This version was designed to stand. I got up. Mina got up with me. We walked out without slamming a door, without theatrics, just quiet finality. The next day, at 5:43 p.m., my phone buzzed. A message from my father. "We'll sign." Not, "We're sorry," not, "We were wrong." "We'll sign." It wasn't a moral awakening, it was survival. But survival is still a form of truth. They signed the terms. Attorney Rivera opened escrow. Payments went out directly to the mortgage company and the school. Cassie sold what she could. The leased SUV went back. Luxury items disappeared one by one, and I watched my sister learn, slowly, painfully, that image is expensive, and somebody always pays. They attended budgeting sessions. They attended mediation. My mother sat with her arms crossed the first 2 times, as if posture could protect her from accountability. My father didn't speak much, but the more sessions we had, the more I noticed something about him I'd never allowed myself to notice. He looked tired, not just tired from stress, tired from years of choosing the easier path, tired from nodding instead of parenting. In one session, he stared at the floor and said, "I thought you didn't need us." My chest tightened. "I needed you," I replied. I just stopped asking when you taught me it was pointless." My mother tried to defend herself like she always did, with the soft armor of intention. "We did our best," she said. "No," I replied. "You did your best for Cassie. You gave me leftovers and called it independence." Cassie cried a lot. At first, the crying felt like manipulation because I'd spent a lifetime watching her tears bend the room. But somewhere along the way, the tears changed. They weren't performing anymore. They were grief. Grief for the fantasy that being the favorite means you're loved more. Sometimes it means you're allowed to stay immature longer. Sometimes it means you're protected until you're unprepared. And then came the family gathering. Not a big holiday, not a staged celebration. Just a weekend dinner at my parents' house with a few relatives, the kind of gathering where everyone pretends nothing is wrong until someone finally says something true. My mother stood up with a sheet of paper in her hand, fingers trembling. She looked at me once, quick, scared, then at the room. Her voice shook as she read, "I have favored one child and expected the other to absorb the cost. I called it practicality, but it was unfair. I'm sorry." The room went quiet in the way rooms do when the lie has been keeping everybody comfortable. No one clapped. No one made a speech. My aunt stared at her plate. Someone cleared their throat and took a sip of water like swallowing could fix the moment. Cassie sat beside her husband's empty chair, eyes down. And me? I felt nothing dramatic, no triumph, no warmth, just relief. Because the truth had finally been spoken out loud, and truth changes the air in a room. You can't pretend the same way after. The payments continued every month like clockwork. Escrow in, bills paid, receipts sent. A system replacing chaos. And my life, my real life, kept growing. Mina and I moved into a brighter place closer to the city, tall windows that made mornings feel like beginnings instead of negotiations. We cooked on Sundays. We took slow walks. We planned trips that didn't involve family guilt. For the first time, I wasn't building my future around the assumption that someone else would eventually need me to sacrifice it. One evening, months later, my doorbell rang. On the camera, it was my father, alone, holding a small cardboard box. I opened the door, and he held it out like he didn't know if he deserved to hand it to me. "I found these," he said, "in the garage." Inside were things I recognized instantly. Old drawings, certificates, a photo of me in a school play where I was standing on the edge of the stage, smiling too hard. Things they never framed, things they never displayed. A whole childhood of quiet achievements stored away like they didn't matter. My father swallowed. I'm sorry. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't poetic. It didn't erase anything. But it was the first time he said it without asking for anything after. I nodded once. "Thank you," I replied. He left. I closed the door. And I didn't collapse. I didn't spiral. I didn't run after him hoping for more. Because I wasn't hungry anymore. That's the part people don't understand about revenge. They think revenge is screaming, humiliation, a dramatic ending where everyone finally sees you and begs. But my revenge was quieter than that. My revenge was refusing to be the family's hidden savings account. My revenge was making them pay full price for the chaos they created. My revenge was choosing a life where I wasn't the last chair at the table, because I finally built my own table. If you're listening to this and you've been the responsible one, the quiet one, the one who doesn't need much, hear me clearly. You can love people and still refuse to fund their dysfunction. You can be kind without being available for exploitation. Boundaries are not betrayal, and the moment someone tells you where you rank in their life, believe them. Then choose yourself like it's not a crime. Because for some families, the only time they learn to walk differently is when you stop carrying them.